plate tyres?
Yeah.
I didn't notice. So we'll practice this a little bit. So halfway down the curve on the left-hand side, just stroke it in now. Pinch the lock a little bit. Now power. Yeah, we're not going quite quick enough yet for it to take effect. Need to build the speed up a couple of laps. So stay on the right-hand side to the end of the curve. In we go here. You can run this curve a little bit. Look left, look left, look left. Brakes third gear. Off the brakes, turn a little bit more, bit of power. Go full power if you want now. Red flag. Just going the pit lane of Q. I'm sure if they saw it, did they? I didn't think they saw it.
Quite often they miss it.
I noticed it from way back there.
Been about 3 or 4 reds today.
Really? Oh, of course you. So
I was an observer this morning.
Yeah, you was observer. Yeah. Yeah. So did you say you were pretty much wound up to full stiff now?
Yes.
Front and rear?
Yeah, there's about, I think I've got one from stiff on the front and about 2 or 3 from stiff on the rear.
Okay.
So I'm pretty much there. I mean, I can go full.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of stiffness, I think it's all right. I mean, don't think we'll do it today, but as you do a little bit more track driving, start to maybe adjust that that balance slightly. In other words, say you're 1 or 2 from the hard now and you're sort of 3 or 4 at the rear, whatever. Probably bring the rear up a little bit. Actually, probably just bring the rear up a little bit. Just to give yourself a little bit more front end bite. The reason I don't want to do it now is, you know, we're used to the car now. We've only got an hour. We're just going to work on the track and everything else.
Yep.
But ultimately, you would probably benefit from having a little bit more bite at the front of the car.
It was probably based on, again, on the 1ZZ, which was an MRS.
Yeah.
It didn't have a limited slip LSD.
Ah, right, okay.
So that caught me out a few times. So from a purely protective point of view, I had a softer rear to give me that bit of wiggle before.
Yeah, no,
so I'm still living off of that sort of psychology.
Well, funnily enough, I mean that's it's a valid point, and it's probably also why I'm thinking to myself, this car needs a little bit more bite on turning, and the reason is a limited slip diff actually hurts you a little bit on turning.
Right.
If you think about it, an open diff, as you turn into a corner, the wheels will roll freely. So when you turn in, that wheel's obviously going faster than the wheel on the inside. With a limited slip diff, that doesn't want to go just fully loose. It will provide some resistance. So when you turn in, that's actually giving you a little bit of resistance to turn in. And what it does, it does just dull the front end a little bit. I mean, people use them all the time, obviously, but what you tend to do is dial it out by making the front end that bit grippier, that bit more compliant. But no, I would stick with it as it is. If it's actually catching you out.
Well, it was on the 1Z.
Oh, it wasn't the one.
It hasn't on this as of yet.
Ah, right, okay.
But yeah, so you know, on that basis,
that's
I can
interesting.
stiffen up the back a bit more.
Yeah, exactly then. Because with the 1ZZ, the car would have turned in better and felt a little bit looser and lighter at the back then. Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, so because I don't, obviously not with you, but we did it at Bedford
Yeah.
and at Brands. You know, they've both called me out, and I've had the back come round a couple of times.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the limited slip diff is definitely going to get rid of that in terms of.
But at a cost of more front grip.
Well, yeah. I mean, basically, before maybe it was a little bit too pointy for you. If it caught you out once or twice, it might have been a little bit too pointy. So this has sort of redressed the balance. But I feel as you get more used to the car, you'll be able to deal with a little bit more bite at the front end. And really, we're just talking about that initial turn in. Once it's in the corner, the dampers really don't do anything in the. They just modify the transition. So as you turn into a corner, the dampers will do this. Once you're in the corner, they're static. Mm-hmm. They've moved and they're going to be in one place. So it's only really on turning, and just on turning by stiffening up the rear or softening off the front, whichever you prefer. It just alters the balance. That just gives you that little bit more bite on the way in. I notice it more. I notice it in two places. I noticed it at Redgate and at Old Hairpin. But bear in mind, this is a circuit where if you had a race car with a standard setup that you use at all the tracks, I would soften the front or stiffen the rear here to give the front more bite. Mm-hmm. Because you've got 4 corners that really require really good bite, particularly the Old Hairpin.
Which one? I'm trying to remember the hair. So the Old Hairpin is.
Yeah, the one at the bottom of the hill after the Craners. It's not a hairpin, obviously. Never has been.
So we do where you were. Line it up on the right, drop in and clip the left.
Yeah,
then as you're going back up the hill, the right is the hairpin. The Old Hairpin.
No. The right is that right hander at the bottom of the Craners is the actual hairpin. Where we go in shallow at the moment, I'm saying add a little bit of extra lock. That is the Old Hairpin. And the reason that's important, it's the most important part of the circuit, is because you're on full power really from there right to the top of the hill, and it's steep uphill. So this coming up is the Old Hairpin.
Right.
As I say, once you come out of here, it's all uphill then. Quite steep actually, not steep as it looks. Okay, left. A bit of brakes down to third gear. Off the brakes, turn a bit, a little bit more, bit of power, full power. Actually, it's got good turning. Well, it'd been turning really well then. You feel it? Yeah. Here we go. Balance, now power. Yeah, actually, some of them could be just if we go into corners even that little bit quicker. You get more weight transfer, so you've got more front end bite. Third gear. Keep on the brakes, middle of the track, add a bit more lock, right to the end post, a bit of power and full power. Turning, that's it. Right hand side, down we go, keep coming left, brakes in third, in you go, full power, back to the floor now, turn in now, full power all the way to the curve on the right hand side, went in too early, can't get there, difficult isn't it, yeah, so again look at that curve on the right hand side before you turn in. Also, because we're going to be coming out of the Old Hairpin quicker, you might have to have a little lift before you go into the lanes. Off the brakes, over the curve. Power now, full power. Keep on where it is. Now you come wide to the left a little bit. You've got room. go past him any. Difficult, isn't it? Now power. Enter this curve and bring it across here. Just like that, just trying to get across with this white, that's it. Line it up on the right hand side, get it straight. Down, right in. That's better. Medium brake, down a gear, off the brake, stroke it in. Tighter. And forward. Over the curve now. Look at the curve on the right hand side, with all the track out towards it. I say you can have that curve a little bit of a lift. In you go. Bring it right in. Brakes in third gear. Off turn a little bit more, and full power. With all the track out to the curve. And forward, keep going. Brakes in third. Off the brakes over the curve. A little bit of power, and full power. Get some power turn there if you can feel it, can't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. That's a little bit of dip. Third gear, off the brakes, stroke it in gradually, bit of power and full power, and forward, over the curve. Look right, ease off the gas a bit, in you go, back on power, brakes in third, turn a little bit and a little bit more, bit of power and full power, out toward the right hand side, left hand side. Brake in three. Off the brakes, here we go. A little bit of power and full power. Yeah, they're quite quick. They're not great corners, but they don't look in a straight line. Different car when it's up the red range, isn't it? This. Full power. Exactly the same as I found with mine, although it's much more difficult to keep it singing. Brake 4, and 3, keep on the brake a little bit, turn a little bit, and a little bit more, right in, up, squeeze the power, full power. Gradually bring it towards the right. Ease up the gas slightly, bring the nose down, right in here. Medium brake, third gear, off the brake, stroke it in, and full power. And forward, halfway across that over the curve, out to the curve on the right. Ease off the gas, bring the nose in a little bit, keep coming in. Brakes in third gear, turn a bit, a little bit more, and power, good. You felt that weight shift there? Yeah. Off the brakes if you get them over the finger. A little bit of power, full power. Keep on the brake a little bit longer. Off the brakes now, power and full power. Oh, shit. Limits, what?
Going off track limits, isn't it?
Oh, it could be anything. Oh, yeah.
Black flag is coming in. Black and white is coming over the limits.
So you're right. show you a black and white?
Oh dear. Could be noise?
I suppose it could be, but you normally expect a black flag straight away. Same thing this morning about keeping off the curbs completely, did you?
No, there's about track limits, but
Yeah,
not
no, you haven't been off. There's no way you've been over track limits. But they would black flag it straight away, I would have thought. Unless they specifically said something like, if you're borderline, we'll show you the black and white in the briefing, no?
Don't recall that. It may have been. When I've got a decibel thing, so I'll put that on. That will just restrict performance a little bit, won't it?
No, mate.